Listen closely, for what I am about to share is not mere talk of swords and battles, but a lesson in the mind, the very forge where victory is shaped. The undefeated duels of Musashi were not won by strength alone, nor by chance. They were won by understanding the unseen, the silent war inside a warrior's spirit. What made Musashi unbeatable was not just his skill with the blade, but his mastery over the mind that wields it. Imagine standing alone on a battlefield, every eye upon you, your opponent ready to strike death in an instant. What goes through your mind? Fear? Doubt? Or something else? A calm, a knowing that the fight is already decided within. That is the psychology behind the undefeated duel. To conquer the external enemy, you must first conquer the internal one. This is the secret that many seek, but few truly grasp. When a duel begins, the mind races, the heart pounds, breath quickens. Most warriors freeze or falter here, shackled by their own thoughts and fears. Musashi's power came from silence in the storm, a mind clear and unshaken by doubt or distraction. He knew that to stand undefeated, one must not react to fear, but transcend it. The duel is a dance between anticipation and action, a battle of wills, where the blade is but a messenger of the mind's command. He prepared his spirit like a still lake, unmoving on the surface yet deep and strong beneath. This stillness allowed him to see openings others missed, to move with the precision of inevitability. In every duel, Musashi embraced the reality that the fight was not just about the sword, but the mind's control over chaos. He understood that hesitation invites death, while decisiveness breeds victory. But decisiveness is not reckless. It is born of patient observation, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. His undefeated record is proof not of arrogance, but of absolute clarity in thought and action. To defeat an opponent, you must first defeat the confusion within. When you can calm the storm in your mind, you become like the wind itself, unpredictable, unstoppable. The greatest battle is not against others, but against the self that doubts, that fears, that hesitates. Musashi's psychology was rooted in a deep understanding of impermanence and adaptability. He knew that no fixed strategy could withstand every opponent, for each moment in a duel is unique and ever-changing. To win, one must flow like water, shifting and changing shape with the circumstances. This mental fluidity allowed him to outthink and outmaneuver even the strongest adversaries. The undefeated warrior is not locked in rigid tactics, but moves freely, unburdened by expectation or fear of failure. The mind that bends does not break. It finds new paths where others see walls. This is why Musashi's duels were never just physical contests, but demonstrations of a mind that was free and fearless. Ask yourself, what is the mind that defeats? It is a mind free of distraction, focused not on the past or future, but on the present moment. It does not cling to desire or fear. In Musashi's way, the present is all that exists. Every breath, every step, every strike. This total presence is a weapon more deadly than any sword. It sharpens your senses, aligns your body and spirit, and turns instinct into mastery. In Sansnap, Terry, and Terry. Instinct. When you fight from this place, your actions are natural, flowing without hesitation. The mind that defeats is not scattered, but whole, not clouded but clear. It sees the enemy not just as a body to be cut, but as a moment to be understood and controlled. The undefeated duels teach us that victory is not a matter of chance but a state of mind. Musashi's battles were won in the silent chambers of thought, where fear is transformed into focus, doubt into certainty. To walk the path of the undefeated is to walk the path of self-mastery, to train not just the body but the mind in patience, awareness, and unshakable calm. This is the true warrior's way. To stand alone, unafraid, with the mind as your greatest weapon and your soul as your shield. The psychology behind Musashi's undefeated duels is a lesson for all who seek victory, not just in battle, but in life itself. Would you walk this path? Would you learn the art of winning before the fight begins? If so, listen well, for the journey has only begun. To understand the undefeated mind, you must first accept that fear is not your enemy but a signal. When Musashi faced his opponents, he did not banish fear. Instead, he acknowledged it and let it pass through like a wave that rises and falls without drowning the shore. Fear sharpens the senses if you do not resist it. It reveals the stakes, reminds you that life is fragile and precious, yet if you let fear take root, it clouds your judgment and slows your blade. The warrior's true challenge is not to eliminate fear, but to become its master, to stand steady while the world around trembles. This is why Musashi trained not only his body, but his spirit, forging a resilience that no enemy could break. Imagine the tension before a duel. The eyes locked, muscles coiled, the silence thick like fog. Most fighters rush, hoping strength or speed alone will carry them through, but Musashi moved differently. He embraced patience as a weapon, waiting for the exact moment when the opponent's mind flickered, when hesitation appeared like a crack in stone. The undefeated duel is won in that fraction of a heartbeat, where all uncertainty vanishes, and only pure, decisive action remains. It is here that the psychology reveals itself. The duel is a contest of control over time and perception, not merely skill and strength. Musashi's mind was a mirror reflecting the opponent's intent before it was acted upon. This foresight was not magic, but a product of deep awareness cultivated over countless battles and endless meditation. He trained himself to read the subtle signals, the tightening of a hand, the shift in weight, the breath held too long. In this way, the undefeated warrior becomes a seer of movement, turning anticipation into opportunity. The mind that is calm and attentive is like a hunter who sees every rustle in the forest, every shadow that betrays the prey's path. This ability to see clearly and move without hesitation is the foundation of undefeated duels. But there is more to this psychology than mere anticipation. Musashi embraced the truth that death is always near in battle, and with this acceptance came freedom. He did not fear death because he understood it as a part of life, an inevitable step in the warrior's journey. This acceptance allowed him to fight without clinging to life or outcome, to strike with the detachment of a man who has nothing to lose. When you fight without fear of death, your actions become pure and unshackled. You flow with the moment rather than struggling against it. This is why Musashi's duels were not desperate battles, but demonstrations of complete mastery over self and circumstance. The undefeated warrior's mind is forged in solitude, in moments when the world falls away, and only the self remains. Musashi walked alone, not because he rejected others, but because solitude honed his mind sharper than any sword could. In isolation, he faced his deepest fears, his own weaknesses, and emerged stronger. The quiet moments before a duel are as important as the fight itself. They are the time when the mind is cleansed of doubt and prepared for absolute focus. Victory begins long before the first strike. In the silent hours when you train the mind to be still like a mountain and swift like the wind. Do not mistake Musashi's undefeated record as the work of luck or brute force. It was the result of relentless mental discipline, of turning every moment into a lesson, every loss into fuel for growth. The psychology behind his duels teaches us that to be undefeated is to be constantly learning, constantly adapting. A warrior who refuses to change is already defeated. To walk undefeated is to flow with the river of life, to move with grace through change and challenge. This mental flexibility allows the warrior to remain unbroken no matter the storm. In this way, Musashi's mind was a fortress built on the foundation of constant self-awareness and relentless practice. If you seek to embody this undefeated spirit, begin by training your mind like Musashi trained his body. Embrace solitude to discover your true self. Face your fears until they lose their power over you. Watch the world carefully. Learn to read the hidden signals of life and battle. When you stand at the edge of conflict, remember, victory is not something given or taken. It is a state of being born from the mastery of your own mind. This is the essence of Musashi's Undefeated Duels. The quiet power of a mind unshaken, a spirit unyielding, and a heart that moves with the certainty of the wind. The mind that stands undefeated is not distracted by the noise of the world or the voices of doubt. Musashi's mind was a fortress, impervious to distraction because it was built on the rock of clarity and purpose. He knew that every thought, every emotion, if left unchecked, could become a weapon against himself. The duel is fought not only against the opponent, but against the confusion inside. When the mind wanders, when it clings to regrets, to fears of the future, or the echoes of past defeats, the body becomes slow, the spirit weak. Musashi's secret was his relentless training to bring his mind back to the present, to the reality of the moment. This mental discipline is like sharpening a blade. Every time the mind strays, you must bring it back, again and again, until focus becomes natural. This focus is the eye of the storm, calm, still, unmovable even as chaos surrounds it. In the heat of battle, this clarity allows you to see what others miss. The trembling in a hand, the shift in weight, the barely perceptible intention before a strike. The undefeated warrior learns to feel the invisible threads connecting movement and mind. This sensitivity to detail is not learned overnight, but forged through patient observation and countless hours of practice. It is said that Musashi never ceased to study, never ceased to learn from every fight, every failure, every quiet moment. The undefeated mind is a student of life, always watching, always adapting. Musashi's psychology also teaches us the power of detachment. In the duel, attachment to victory or fear of loss can cloud judgment. The mind that clings to outcome becomes fragile, vulnerable to panic and hesitation. Musashi embraced detachment, not as coldness, but as freedom from bondage to result. This freedom allowed him to move with a fluid grace, striking where the opportunity arose, not where he wished it would. To fight without attachment is to become like water, adaptable, flowing, unstoppable. The undefeated warrior does not force the fight. He allows it to unfold and strikes with the certainty of the moment. You may wonder, how does one cultivate such a mind? It begins with embracing solitude and silence, for these are the crucibles of clarity. Musashi walked alone to face his own mind, to listen to the whispers of doubt and fear until they lost their power. In the silence, you learn to hear your true self, the part that is steady and strong beneath the turmoil. This is the foundation of undefeated psychology. A mind that is not scattered by external noise, but rooted deeply in inner strength. Every duel, every challenge, is then met not with desperation, but with calm assurance. Remember, the undefeated mind is forged not only in battle, but in daily life. Every moment offers a chance to train your spirit, in the way you face hardship, in how you respond to failure, in the discipline of your thoughts. Musashi's duels were reflections of a life lived with total awareness and relentless effort. To walk the path of the undefeated is to commit to a lifelong journey of self-mastery. This journey demands courage, patience, and above all, honesty with yourself. Only by confronting your weaknesses without denial can you transform them into strength. The true psychology behind Musashi's Undefeated Duels is a teaching for all who seek victory beyond the sword. It is a call to mastery over self, over fear, doubt, and distraction. It is a reminder that the greatest battles are fought in the mind, and only by winning there can we hope to stand undefeated in the world. So I ask you now, will you walk this path? Will you train your mind to be still and shut? Will you face your fears until they become stepping stones instead of walls? The way of the undefeated is not easy, but it is the way of true strength. To step further into the heart of Musashi's undefeated psychology, consider the art of perception. In the chaos of combat, most warriors see only the immediate. An arm raised, a foot stepping forward. But Musashi saw beyond the surface. His mind dissected each movement, each breath, to reveal the intention beneath. This ability is born not from haste but from patience, from a quiet mind that watches without judgment. When your mind is calm and open, you begin to notice the patterns hidden in motion, the rhythm that guides the fight. The undefeated warrior moves with this rhythm, not against it, turning the enemy's strength into weakness. In every duel, Musashi employed what he called the void, a state where the mind is empty of preconceived notions, free from expectation or fear. This emptiness is not emptiness of thought, but a fullness of presence. When you reach this state, you are not caught in reaction but in creation. You respond not to what you expect, but to what is. This is the greatest psychological advantage a warrior can have. The void is a mind that sees clearly, acts swiftly, and remains unburdened by the past or anxious for the future. It is a mind perfectly balanced between awareness and action, like the calm eye of a storm. Musashi's undefeated duels were also shaped by a deep acceptance of impermanence. He understood that all things, life, strength, even victory, are fleeting. This acceptance freed him from attachment and fear. When you grasp that every moment is temporary, you stop fighting against it and instead flow with the natural course of life. This perspective is not defeat, but liberation. It sharpens the mind and steadies the heart, allowing you to act with precision and courage. To live and fight with this understanding is to move beyond ordinary fear into a realm of unshakable calm. Another vital aspect of Musashi's psychology was his willingness to embrace failure as a teacher. The undefeated warrior is not one who never falls, but one who never stops rising. Every duel, every mistake, is a lesson etched into the soul. Musashi sought out challenges, not to prove his strength, but to deepen his understanding. This relentless pursuit of growth is what made him unbeatable. When you face setbacks, not as ends, but as beginnings, your mind becomes resilient and ever adaptive. This mindset is the essence of true mastery, where the path is more important than the destination. In the quiet moments between duels, Musashi practiced meditation and reflection. These practices were not signs of weakness, but tools of the strongest mind. They honed his ability to return to the present, to clear away distractions, and to face whatever comes with unwavering clarity. The undefeated warrior understands that strength is not just physical, but mental and spiritual. It is built in stillness as much as in motion. The mind trained in this way becomes like a blade tempered in fire, sharp, strong, and ready for any challenge. So, to walk the path of Musashi's undefeated psychology, you must cultivate patience, presence, and acceptance. You must train your mind to see beyond surface fears, to embrace the void, and to flow with impermanence. You must face failure as a guide, not an enemy, and practice stillness to sharpen your focus. This path is not easy, but it leads to a power beyond the blade, a power born from within, unshakable and true. When you master this, you carry the spirit of the undefeated warrior in every step, every breath, every strike. Now, let us turn to the discipline that underpins all this, the relentless training of body and mind in harmony. Musashi's undefeated duels were not born of raw talent alone, but from years of tireless practice and self-discipline. The mind cannot conquer if the body falters. The blade cannot strike true if the hand trembles. This unity of mind and body is the cornerstone of the warrior's psychology. Musashi did not simply train to fight. He trained to live with intention. Every movement a meditation, every breath a lesson in control. In battle, the mind moves faster than the body, anticipating and directing each action. To achieve this, Musashi cultivated what many today call muscle memory. But in his time, it was the seamless unity of thought and motion. This unity frees the mind from being bogged down in mechanics, allowing it to focus entirely on strategy, perception, and timing. The undefeated warrior moves not through force but through precision, not by overpowering but by outthinking. This discipline is quiet, unseen, but it manifests as an unbreakable flow in the heat of combat. But discipline is more than repetition. It is also the willingness to endure hardship and discomfort without wavering. Musashi's life was filled with solitude and challenge, yet he accepted these not as burdens, but as necessary steps on the path to mastery. To cultivate an undefeated mind, you must welcome struggle, for it shapes resilience. You must be willing to face pain, failure, and loneliness, knowing these forge the steel of your spirit. The path is narrow, and few walk it, but those who do find in themselves a power that no enemy can match. The Undefeated Duels reveal also the importance of strategy rooted in humility and realism. Musashi never saw himself as invincible. He approached every fight with the respect due to a worthy opponent. This respect kept his mind sharp, alert to danger and opportunity alike. Arrogance blinds, humility sharpens. Knowing your limits and facing them honestly is the beginning of true strength. Musashi's psychology embraced this balance, a fierce confidence tempered by constant self-examination. To be undefeated is not to believe you are unbeatable, but to prepare so thoroughly that defeat is impossible. Consider also Musashi's use of unpredictability as a mental weapon. He did not fight the way others expected, because he understood that predictability breeds vulnerability. The undefeated warrior keeps the mind and body fluid, always ready to change tactics, to adapt instantly. This mental flexibility confounds the opponent and breaks their rhythm. To embody this, you must train not only your skills, but your mind to let go of rigid plans and move with the situation. This freedom in combat is the heart of undefeated strategy, never locked, never fixed, always alive. The undefeated psychology of Musashi teaches us that to stand undefeated, one must live undefeated. The battles of the mind and spirit are fought daily, in how you meet challenge, how you handle success, how you confront fear. This constant inner training builds a fortress stronger than steel, a mind calm in chaos, a spirit unyielding in hardship. When you cultivate this, the world's storms become mere wind against your resolve. You stand, like Musashi, undefeated, not because fate favors you, but because you have made yourself so. Musashi's undefeated psychology also teaches us the power of presence. Not just being physically present, but fully alive in every moment. When you are truly present, your mind does not scatter into the past regrets or future worries. It rests firmly in the now, fully aware and engaged. This presence sharpens your senses, heightens your intuition, and aligns your entire being with the flow of the moment. Set in a duel, this means seeing the opponent's movements before they happen, feeling the shifting balance in the air, sensing the opening before it appears. Presence transforms a fight from a chaotic clash into a clear, deliberate exchange of wills. This kind of presence is a skill you cultivate through discipline and mindfulness, by training yourself to come back to the moment whenever your mind wanders. It is like a flame that flickers in the wind, easily disturbed but sustained with care and focus. Musashi's mastery was rooted in this fierce attentiveness. He was not rushed or distracted, but steady as a mountain, moving with the calm certainty of a flowing river. This balance of strength and softness, focus and flexibility, is what makes the undefeated mind unbreakable. Another lesson from Musashi's duels is the importance of simplicity. In the heat of battle, complex plans and overthinking become chains that slow the warrior down. Musashi's style was direct and clear. Every movement had purpose, every strike was decisive. This simplicity comes from deep understanding, from stripping away what is unnecessary until only the essence remains. The psychology behind this is clear. The mind freed from clutter can act with speed and clarity. The undefeated warrior does not hesitate, does not waste energy on doubt or hesitation. Instead, they flow with the essence of the moment and move with unwavering precision. Finally, we come to the heart of Musashi's undefeated psychology, the balance between control and letting go. To win, you must control the fight, control your body and mind. control the space between you and the opponent. But at the same time, you must let go of attachment to control. This paradox is difficult but essential. Holding too tightly creates tension and limits your flow. Letting go too much invites chaos. The undefeated warrior finds the middle path, where control is like a gentle hand guiding the river, rather than a dam blocking it. In this balance, the mind is free, the body moves naturally, and victory becomes not a struggle, but a natural outcome. To walk in the footsteps of Musashi's undefeated mind is to embrace these truths: mastery over fear, unwavering presence, simplicity of action, patient observation, humble confidence, and flexible control. It is a journey that requires courage, honesty, and relentless effort. But the reward is greater than victory. It is freedom. Freedom from doubt, from fear, from the noise that clouds the mind. The undefeated warrior is not just a fighter, but a master of self, a spirit unshaken by the world's storms. This is the psychology behind Musashi's Undefeated Duels. This is the way of the true warrior. Let us now explore the quiet power of intuition, the invisible force that guided Musashi through countless duels without fail. Intuition is often mistaken for mere guesswork or luck, but in truth, it is the distilled wisdom of experience, training, and deep awareness converging in a single instant. Musashi's undefeated mind was finely tuned to this silent voice within, allowing him to act decisively, even when reason could not yet explain why. This intuitive power comes from surrendering to the moment, trusting your trained body and mind to respond as one. The more you practice presence and mindfulness, the clearer this voice becomes, cutting through doubt like a blade through silk. In every duel, Musashi's intuition worked hand in hand with his strategy and technique, creating a harmony that no opponent could disrupt. This harmony is not achieved by forcing control, but by letting go. Letting go of the need to control every outcome and trusting yourself to meet whatever comes with calm and clarity. This is the essence of Musashi's undefeated psychology, a mind balanced between preparation and surrender, between knowledge and instinct. When these forces align, victory flows naturally, as inevitable as the tide. Musashi also understood the power of silence, not just the absence of noise, but the presence of a deep internal stillness that sharpens the mind. In the moments before a duel, silence is not emptiness, but a gathering of all your strength and focus. It is a sacred space where distractions fall away and your true self rises. Many warriors rush into battle with loud hearts and scattered thoughts, but Musashi moved with the quiet confidence of one who had already won the war within. This silence allowed him to listen to the rhythm of the fight, to the slightest change in the opponent's energy, to the beating of his own heart, and respond with perfect timing. This silence and intuition form a foundation for what Musashi called the mind of no mind, a state where conscious thought gives way to pure awareness and action. It is a paradoxical state where you act without acting, see without seeing, move without moving. This mind is free from hesitation and doubt, unburdened by analysis or distraction. It is the mind that Musashi honed through years of meditation, solitude, and relentless practice. To cultivate this state is to touch the essence of undefeated psychology, where the mind and body flow as one, and victory is not forced, but unfolds naturally. To walk the path of Musashi's undefeated duels, you must train yourself to listen to the silence within, to trust your intuition, and to act with unwavering presence. These are not skills you acquire overnight, but fruits of a lifetime's dedication to self-mastery. Each moment of stillness, each breath of calm, each step of patient observation brings you closer to this way, and in this way lies true power, not just to conquer others, but to conquer yourself, to stand undefeated in the face of life's fiercest battles. Musashi's Undefeated Duels also teach us about the art of timing, the invisible thread that weaves victory from the fabric of chaos. Timing is not simply about speed or reaction. It is about knowing exactly when to act and when to wait. In every duel, Musashi demonstrated an uncanny ability to find that perfect moment, striking with precision when the opportunity was born and retreating when it was not yet ripe. This mastery of timing is rooted in deep patience and unwavering awareness. The mind that masters timing is like a clock, steady and unerring, yet adaptable to the changing rhythm of the fight. Timing flows naturally from presence and observation. When your mind is calm and fully engaged, you sense the subtle shifts in your opponent's stance, the slightest hesitation in their breath, the tremor in their grip. These small signals reveal the opening, an invitation to act with clarity and power. Musashi's undefeated record is proof that the warrior who masters timing need not be the fastest or strongest, but the wisest. To cultivate this skill, you must train yourself to observe without rushing, to listen without distraction, to wait without impatience. In this waiting lies the power to transform a duel from a desperate struggle into a dance of inevitability. Another pillar of Musashi's undefeated psychology is the acceptance of uncertainty. Many warriors fear the unknown and try to impose rigid plans to control every outcome. Musashi embraced uncertainty as the natural state of battle and life. By accepting that the future is always unclear, he freed himself from the paralysis of fear and over-planning. Instead, he trained his mind to be flexible and open, ready to adapt instantly to whatever arose. This acceptance of uncertainty is not surrender, but strength. It is the ability to stand firm while the world shifts around you, to move with the currents rather than against them. Musashi's undefeated duels also reveal the importance of inner balance, a harmony between mind, body, and spirit. The warrior who fights with anger or desperation loses clarity and control. Musashi's psychology was built on cultivating a centered spirit, one that neither clings to victory nor fears defeat. This balance comes from deep self-awareness and discipline, from knowing when to push forward and when to hold back. The undefeated mind is not rigid, but fluid, not cold, but calm, not distant, but deeply connected to the flow of life. This inner harmony is the source of Musashi's power, the invisible force that made his blade swift and sure. As you walk the path toward this undefeated psychology, remember that true mastery is a lifelong journey. There is no final destination, only continual growth and learning. Musashi himself never stopped refining his mind and skills, embracing every challenge as a chance to improve. To stand undefeated is to commit to this path of relentless effort, humble reflection, and unwavering focus. It is to forge a mind so strong and clear that no opponent, no matter how fierce, can break your spirit or shake your resolve. The essence of Musashi's undefeated psychology lies also in the profound understanding of control, not control over others, but control over one's self. This control is born from self-discipline, from the ability to govern your emotions, thoughts, and reactions in the heat of battle and in the quiet moments before it. Musashi's undefeated record was not just a testament to his skill with the sword, but to his unwavering mastery of his own mind. The true warrior conquers the battlefield only after conquering the chaos within. This internal dominion frees you from being a slave to impulse, fear, or pride. Emotions are powerful forces, and left unchecked, they cloud judgment and weaken resolve. Musashi taught that the warrior must observe emotions as they arise without clinging or reacting. When anger flares, it must be acknowledged, but not allowed to control action. When fear creeps in, it must be met with calm, steady breath. This mental discipline creates a space between stimulus and response, a space where the warrior can choose action wisely instead of reacting blindly. In this space lies true power, the power to remain unshaken, focused, and undefeated. Musashi's psychology was not about suppressing emotion, but about understanding its nature and using it to fuel clarity and courage. His mind was a river, flowing steadily even when torrents of feeling surged beneath the surface. This balance between feeling and control made his actions natural and unstoppable. The undefeated warrior feels deeply but acts wisely. They move not with reckless passion, but with deliberate calm, wielding emotion as a tool rather than a master. In tradition, Musashi embraced the concept of no self, the idea that the ego, the sense of a separate I, is an illusion that clouds perception. When the warrior dissolves the ego, they become one with the fight, one with the moment, one with the blade. This state is a profound psychological shift, where the boundaries between self and opponent blur, and action flows effortlessly. The undefeated mind is free from attachment to identity or outcome. It acts purely from the place of presence and truth. To approach this state is to transcend ordinary limits and touch the essence of mastery. To walk in the footsteps of Musashi's undefeated psychology, you must train to cultivate control over your inner world, your emotions, your ego, your fears. This control does not mean rigidity, but the flexibility to flow with life's challenges without losing your center. The mind that masters itself is a mind that stands undefeated, no matter the fight. This journey demands patience, courage, and relentless self-awareness, but it leads to a strength that no external force can shatter. Now, hear this. True victory is not measured by the sword you wield, nor by the number of battles won, but by the strength you carry within when the world grows dark and the path ahead seems impossible. Musashi's undefeated duels were not simply moments of triumph over others, but triumph over himself, over fear, doubt, and the relentless storms that rage inside every human heart. To walk the path of the undefeated is to face those storms head-on, to stand firm when others falter, to rise even when the weight of the world threatens to crush you. You may feel alone on this journey, as Musashi often did, but know this: solitude is not emptiness. It is the sacred space where your spirit is forged in fire. In those quiet moments when no one is watching, when your body aches and your mind screams to give up, that is where true warriors are made. Victory begins there, not on the battlefield, but in the silence of your own soul. When you learn to face yourself without fear, to embrace your flaws as fuel for growth, you become unstoppable. So, I challenge you now, embrace your fears. Train your mind and walk boldly into the unknown with unwavering courage. Let the spirit of the undefeated warrior rise within you. Know that every step you take toward mastery is a victory in itself. The blade may strike, the winds may howl, but you will stand unbroken, unshaken, undefeated. This is your path. This is your moment. Own it with all your heart, and you will discover the true meaning of victory. The victory that lives forever within.